name here. Chukat Balak. Chukat Balak. Chukat is of the law, and Balak is the character in the Bible that we all know as Balak. Balak. Remember, he was the king of Moab. And very interesting thing about the king of Moab, and we're gonna dive right into um, this parasha tonight. And so, as I was looking at this, the beginning of this, I'm just gonna give my perspective summary. Um, as I was looking at this parasha and listening to it, the one thing that kept coming to my mind was how we as Israelites have always been under attack. We've always been under attack, whether in the Americas or in Europe or even on uh, the continent of Africa, and more specifically, even in Israel. We have the Egyptians who enslaved our ancestors. We had the Medo-Persians to enslave our ancestors. We had the Greeks. We had the Romans. Um, and now we are here in America. And, how did we get here? Well, because of disobedience. Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy chapter 4, I mean, various places in the scriptures that prophesy and tell the people of Yah that if you continue to ignore my Torah, if you continue to be disobedient to my Torah, you're going to go into captivity. And guys, this is why I argue vehemently against protesting, against standing up for our rights. We like to say that this thing is unjust. It's just a trap. How could they do this to the black man? Let me tell you why. Again, it's our disobedience. Where Abba promised that we would be taken into captivity, and here we are, not knowing our identity, not knowing who we are, and so people have been always trying to destroy us. And really, when you think about it, you can't even be mad at the individuals that are being used as a tool in the hand of Yah to bring us to Him. You can't be mad at the Egyptians. You can't be mad at the Medo-Persians. You can't be mad at the Babylonians. You can't be mad with the Greeks or the Romans, or even today the Europeans who brought us here in slavery and captivity. And so we can only blame ourselves. We can only blame our ancestors. And I know that's hard to do, but we have to really look at it. And so when I look at this parasha tonight, and it talked about, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, dealing with Balaam and Balak, and just humor me for a little while. Balak wanted to destroy the Israelites, not just like anybody else. And he dials up Balaam. Usually, people who have in the past destroyed us or tried to destroy us, they tried to destroy us with all kinds of weapons, with even on the continent of Africa. When the Europeans came in, I have a book called The Bible and the Gun. The Bible and the Gun, very interesting book. It's about the Gatling gun, the history of the Gatling gun. And so they brought this Gatling gun to the continent of Africa and basically said to the people there, either you take this Bible and submit to us, or we're going to kill you. All right. And so there have been all kinds of ways that people have tried to destroy our ancestors and even us today. But no one has ever tried to put a curse on us. I can't think. That's an interesting weapon, isn't it? To put a curse on our ancestors. And so I thought that was pretty interesting when you think about all the different ways that the Israelites, our ancestors, have been attacked. We see Balak dialing up or going on Google and finding out, how can we destroy Israelites? What is the best way to destroy Israelites? Going to Google, oh, Balaam. Balaam is known for casting spells and curses. Oh, I'm going to dial him up right now. And so this is exactly what Balak did, the king of Moab. And so we see those things happening. And so I just wanted to bring that out. I thought that was very interesting to me, to see how Balak sends, these group of men to go to Balaam. And Balaam essentially says, I'm not going to do it unless the price is right. And that brings me to another point that I want to bring up. What's your price for turning on Yah? What's your price for neglecting to do the things that Yah wants you to do? Do you have a price? Is there enough money that someone can pay you to not read the word, to not attend Bible study? Is there a price that you have? What's your price? Balaam said, I'm not going to go against the Lord unless you break me off, unless you give me something that's worth going against Yah. What's worth going against Yah? How much? What's your price? If I told you right now that if you didn't go to Shabbat for a whole month, and what you would get is your bills will be paid, your debt cleaned up. On top of that, you will get a yearly salary of $1 million. Just don't go to Shabbat for 4 weeks. I mean, what's 4 weeks out of the rest of your life? And so the question is not, would you do it? But the question is, what's your price? What's your price? And we've neglected Shabbat. We've neglected, and when I say Shabbat, guys, I'm just using that as an example of being obedient. It could be any one of the instructions. Forgiving your neighbor, being peaceful with all men. But specifically Shabbat, what's your price? What is it that you would sacrifice for? How much would you how much would it take for you? And so as we go through this parasha, guys, we're going to be making connections back to the story. Oh, sometimes it may not be money involved. It could be the opposite sex. It could be a person where you used to going down this straight and narrow road in the path of life, and then all of a sudden someone enter into your life that causes you to forget everything you were raised with, and brings down not only you, but brings down people in your family. And this is where we see, and I'm just going to mention this, and someone else could probably speak to it, but brings in Pinhas, where he kills two people. He kills two people because of his zeal and because of his excitement and commitment to Yah. He kills two people. Not only that, but it stops the plague. Now watch this. Here we go. Check this out. Here's a dilemma for you. If you knew that 1,000 people were going to die, but if you could only kill 2, you would save the rest, would you do it? 1,000 people in your family are going to die if you don't kill these 2 people. Would you kill them? That's what Pinhas did. Pinhas killed 2 individuals And they were high ranking too. They weren't just your normal, you know, everyday Joe Schmo. They were high ranking officials that should have been leading the people of Yah, but they had a weakness, and their weakness was women, the Moabite women. Man. So the Israelites saw these Moabite women, and they desired them, and some of the Israelites sinned with them. They sinned with these women, and it brought a plague on the entire. So watch this now. You could have been trying to do the right thing, but then you got two of the homies or two of the family members that's doing something completely wrong. And as a result, you get caught up as well, because the plague is going to affect you too. And you didn't do anything wrong. Phineas said, no, y'all got to go. And he kills two high-ranking officials. And so that's my brief snapshot on, I could have mentioned the red heifer, but maybe we can talk about that. I could have mentioned how Moses, instead of speaking to the rock, he struck the rock instead of speaking to it. Why would Moses do that? What was going on in his psyche that he all of a sudden just thought that he could do it the way he wanted to do it, instead of the way Yah instructed him to do it? Now that's a good topic. That concept can bring a lot of examples from our personal life. And the concept is, when someone decides to ignore the instructions of Yah and do things the way they want to do them. That could apply in a lot of different areas. And so I'm just going to leave it right there and give you guys a chance to jump on in. Questions, comments, anything that you have to contribute to the conversation tonight. And we want to hear from you. All right, blessings.
Oh, blessings. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
So I'm speaking to the why Moses hit the rock instead of speaking to it. I was just pondering a little bit of that on the way over back home, and I wonder if he was just really so frustrated with all the mumblings, because I remember back in Shalek Lecha, how they were saying, how Yah was saying, these past 10 times that they rebelled against me. And then the next parashat was the Korach. So it was like 4 more times that they went against Moses, then Aaron, and then Yah. Like different people was going against them in different ways. And even in this parashat here, when it came to the water and the food, they were complaining. That was another 2 times that they were mumbling and grumbling like that. It's like they forgot that he told them, you will not go into the promised land. This generation is going to die off because of your grumblings. It's like it's in one ear and out the other. So the people keep complaining. They keep mumbling. They keep doing this. And, Moses probably was fed up and was like, just as fed up as Yah, but he didn't listen in the midst of his, his flesh got away with him at that time. And from what I understand, Aaron was the one that was supposed to speak, because Moses was slow of speech. So Aaron was supposed to speak, and Moses instead was like, people, and used the staff, right? So they both were punished for that. And I think I brought this up last year, just how quickly Aaron's punishment came and he died. And I understand he was the oldest because Miriam had already passed away. And then he said, take him up to Mount Hor and, strip him of his clothes, take his son with him. And I'm like, dang, he got punished instantly for not doing what y'all said. Right.
Right.
And Moses, it took him a little bit longer because he was still, before they got over there, he didn't die until later. But they were both punished for that. And he said, neither one of you are going into the promised land. He was just fed up with these people. And it's like, don't mess around and join the people in being disobedient with me, Moses.
Man.
So that was interesting. And I think he was fed up. Like he's like this middleman and he's trying so hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And when I think about that, I think about, let me say this. Are there circumstances where we can say that where we can justify disobeying God because someone else made us upset or someone else did something to us? Are there any circumstances where we can say that?
I would say no. What do you mean? You said, is it a circumstance where we get away with being disobedient because of somebody else?
And justify it because of what someone else did to us?
I think no. I think once you learn the way in which you're supposed to go, we all have the power of decision. We all have the power of making choices. Unfortunately, a lot of people do have behaviors based off of familial situations or upbringings or emotional abuse, this or it's all types of reasons why people behave in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But knowledge is power, and you're supposed to be able to overcome that, whether it's therapy, the Bible, prayer. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I would think that you're still held responsible.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else want to jump in and take a shot at? You know what I thought was interesting too was the story of Jephthah. Kind of reminded me of Joseph a little bit. Jephthah being a mighty man of war. He had that gift, and his brothers were jealous, and they brought up this. They were mean, man. They were mean to him. They said, "We ain't got the same mama. You're not really related to us." And even to go further, it's not just we don't have the same mama. We don't have the same mother, but your mama is a prostitute. That's how you got here. Oh my goodness. Siblings it can be very vicious. I mean, and then the funny thing is they end up turning around and needing him. How many of you guys, I want you to think about this and be honest. Your brothers and sisters did some stuff to you and treated you like they treated Jephthah and said, you're not really a part of the family. Your mama's a whore. We're not related to you. But then the tables turn and they're in trouble. The people who said all this stuff, they're in trouble. And now they need you. Now you could be a part of the family. Yeah, now you could kick it, right? Isn't that what happened to Jephthah?
Hey, blessings, brother.
Kango.
Blessings. Yeah, I was thinking, isn't it Joseph, not Jephthah?
I was just kind of like seeing
Okay.
some similarities a little bit.
Okay. Just okay. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that happened to Jephthah.
Yeah, his brothers, were saying that, um, you're not really related to us. Your mama was a harlot, a prostitute. But then when they got ready to fight against, I think it was Moab, I think, they were begging Jephthah to lead the brigade. That was in Judges chapter 11.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know there was another Jephthah. So there must have been two of them. There was one that that actually made a vow
Oh, that
and
was the
said,
dad. That was the dad of the one that made the vow, and he had to get his daughter.
yeah,
I don't think that was Jephthah.
yeah, because I think, yeah. Let me see. Let's see. That was Oh, let's see.
I think that did happen in Judges also.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing this up, though.
Yeah, because the guy made a vow and said, "If you give us the victory, I will offer to the Lord." First thing, oh,
Yeah.
that was Jephthah that made that vow.
Yeah. So it's two Jephthahs then. Because you're saying that somebody said his mother's a harlot, so it must have been a different one.
Yeah, where is that? Okay, I think it's in the text, chapter 11, verses. Let's see, it says, "Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, but he was the son of a harlot,
Got you.
and
So it's,
Gilead begot Jephthah. Gilead's wife bore sons, and when his wife's sons grew up, they drove Jephthah out." So that's kind of like Joseph a little bit when they took his coat of
got you.
many colors. Yeah. Anyone else who would like to make a comment here? Question? Oh, yes. There's like a lot to this story, man, that is so interesting to me. Like the response of Jephthah's daughter when she said, "Dad, whatever vow that you made to the Lord, I'm going to honor what you believe." That's deep. I'm not in this life to make my own rules. That's deep, y'all. Listen to this. The daughter, she's a virgin. She's never experienced. She said, "I'm going to have to die not knowing what it's like to give birth and bring forth life and carry on my family's name." And remember, back in these times, that was like a woman's goal, and it was looked at as not being inferior. It was looked at as being the birth canal for the next generation. That's super important even today. That you are responsible, women, to keep your body, your temple healthy enough to bring forth people for the next generation that will live. That is huge. And then the response of the daughter was that, "Dad, whatever you believe, not only do I believe it too, but I submit to it." Wow. How many children you know like that? And why aren't our children like that? How about that? Do you know children like that? Or why aren't our children like that? Where did she say that at? Let me go to the text and give her exact words. I want y'all to see this, because you would think I was lying. She said in verse 36, hold on, let me go to verse 36 real quick. Isn't this amazing? This young daughter, young woman, she says, watch what she says, y'all. Check this out. Oh, let me show you guys this. It was amazing to me. Amazing stuff. Watch what she says here. Look at verse 35. And it came to pass when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low. First of all, why are you blaming her? Okay. We can deal with that. And thou art one of them that trouble me. Why she's troubling you? For I have opened my, see, here you go, right here. You opened your mouth on that. Jephthah, you brought that on you, but we see Jephthah blaming the child. Isn't that a shame that the dad can't take responsibility for his own actions? Look at verse 36. And she said to him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. In other words, Daddy, I believe what you believe, and I'm going to submit to it. For as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance on thine enemies, even the children of Ammon. Man. Oh, where are the women like this? And she was a virgin. Look at 37. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me. Only thing I ask is this one thing. Let me go 2 months, that I may go up and down the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. Now somebody may think, oh, she went up into the mountains to get to have, to handle that to make sure she didn't die a virgin. No, that's not what that means. Let's look what bewail, to bewail. Okay, she went up there to weep, to lament. She embraced this grief. Okay, she didn't drink herself. She didn't go up there and get high. She didn't go up there with a fifth of nothing. She wasn't sipping and she wasn't puffing. Okay. And so she went up there to shed tears and to cry. Now let me look at the grammar on this. Okay. Let me look at the grammar. Imperfect. Okay, yes. Yes, it's a call imperfect. That means that she didn't just go up there. This was something that affected her as she continued to weep, to grieve, and to be saddened. Now let's look at this, fellows. Who did she go with? Who did she go up there with? All right. Now we can see that this is obviously a noun, and it's in the feminine plural. So she went up there, Raya. Okay, let's look at see what that is. Maidens. Look at that. She went up there with some women, some supportive women. Oh, that the sisters could get along with each other. Oh, that when the sisters are down, they could be associates in love. Oh, if the sisters could just put down all of the jealousy, all of the control, and just say, I'm going to be here for you. My goodness. Well, where are the sisters? Where are the companions that when another sister is going through something, that they can say, you know what, sister, I'm not going through that. I don't know what that feels like, but I'm just going to be there for you. Where they at? Man. Female associates. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at, yo? Sisters, don't you get tired of going through stuff and there are no sisters there that will weep with you? Instead of telling them, well, you should have left him a long time ago. I told you he wasn't no good. Where are the sisters that will just go and weep with you? Where they at? Well, now that brings up another question. Well, who are the people in your circle? Are they spiritually grounded? Who are these women that are your associates? Who are they? Oh, that's deep. She went to bemoan. She went to weep for her virginity. And some women that went up there, and they didn't try to go get her drunk and bring some men into the camp, into the mountains. At the bonfire, no. They went up there and they had a prayer meeting and weeping and crying and praying. You got to be careful about people that when you tell them that you are crying unto the Lord, you're praying unto the Lord, and they look at you and say, praying? What? What's wrong with you? Let's go get drunk. You got to be careful about people. Let's go out. Let's go to the club. Let's order some shots. You got to be careful about those kind of people. Look, I'm just rambling. I'm rambling, but it's true. It's true. All right, I didn't talk enough. Let me give someone else a chance. Blessings.
I was wondering with Balak and Balaam, why Yah was upset with him when he told him the second time to go with him, and then he went. Like, I was wondering, was he testing him? Because initially he told him, do not go with them when he had the men stay with him the first time, and he sent them away. He told them straight up. And I'm thinking maybe he knew something in his heart was curious about what Balak would offer him, which is why he went. But he said, look, if these men have come to get you, then go with him, but only do what I say.
Right.
And then he got up and left, and then his anger was kindled, which is why the angel of the Lord stood in the road and the donkey stopped. But I'm thinking, like, was he testing him to see if he would listen to his initial statement, which was don't go with these men. So yeah, that was interesting to me. Not to mention when he got up there, he still spoke what the Lord said. No matter what you offer me, I can only do what the Lord tells me out of my mouth. And it don't matter how many times we go and sacrifice in all these different places, I still can't say nothing but what he's telling me.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was that in 23, Numbers 23 or 22?
I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. Let me see. I believe it's in Numbers 20.
It says,
to 20.
and the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth, and God met Balaam, and Balaam said to Balak, saying, he said 22.
That's when the that parasha begins.
Oh, so that's about the red heifer in 22, I think. Oh, wait, let's see.
No, I think Balak starts in Numbers 22.
Okay.
I believe so. Who is Balaam? There's that here. And then
Oh yeah, in 22:12 he says, "Don't go. Thou shalt not curse the people." And then let's see. Ouch. Oh yeah, 20 Numbers 22:20. He says, "And God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, If the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto you, that shalt thou do." Uh, Verse 21, and Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. Verse 22, and God's anger was kindled because he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the way. That is interesting.
but you see, like I'm like, was he testing him? Because first he told him not to go and he didn't go. Then he told him to go and he went, and then he was mad.
Yeah. That is. What do you guys think? What is? That's a good way. Was he testing him? What was going on with that? Why would Yah say, "Hey, I want you to go," but then when he goes, Yah gets angry? What was it? A test? What was that? What's that about? What do you guys think?
I mean, I kind of think it possibly was a test, but it also was to the point where he was hitting his donkey, and maybe it was a lesson as well. Like, why he get mad at the donkey? Because I'm thinking it could have been a test because maybe his heart was considering what Balak was going to try to offer him for cursing the people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he said with his mouth, remember he said, "Yo, you speak from your mouth, but your heart is far from me."
Yep.
And he got angry with the donkey for not going. So why was he angry at the donkey? If his heart and his mind was really stayed on Yah, he would have had his eyes open to the angel in the road, maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know. That was just curious to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read through that again because I did think that was very interesting. Because the Lord didn't give him permission at first. I think that's in verse like 12 or 13. Yeah, it says, so Balaam rose in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, "Go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to give me permission to go with you." And the princes of Moab rose and went back to Balak and said, "Balaam refuses to come with us." Then Balak again sent princes more numerous and more honorable. So we see Balak is trying to get him to change his mind here. Um, then it says, and they came to Balaam and said to him, "Thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will certainly honor you with greatly, and I will do whatever you say to me. Therefore, please come and curse this people for me." And then 18, then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give, see, here it is. This is why I think Yah was angry. Look at verse 18. Then Balaam answered. So Yah already said, I don't want you to go. But verse 18, Numbers chapter 22, verse 18 says, then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now, therefore, please, you also stay here tonight that I may know what more the Lord will say. You see that? The Lord already told him, don't go. But now he says, let me see what the Lord is going to say.
He said, let me see what more he will say, like as if he was going to change his mind or something.
As exactly. And the reason why is because of what Balak said. Well, if he was to give me his house full of gold and silver, he said, I wouldn't even go if he gave me that. So it's kind of like, this negotiation, like, since you came with more men, more honorable, well, what if I think it was a hard issue that even though Balak was saying, like you said earlier, maybe he Balaam was saying the right things, but in his heart, he didn't want to do it. Yeah, I don't think Yah was changing his mind when he told him to go with him in verse 20. And here's the thing, when Yah makes his will clear and you decide in your heart, he's not going to stop you. You're going to get exactly what you want to do. Yeah, that's a good point. I honestly, I don't think Yah changed his mind. I think that Balaam didn't want to do. Um, Balaam wanted to go. He wanted to get paid. He wanted that reward. I mean, how many times have we, wanted to do something and we know the Lord, no, you shouldn't be doing that, but we did it anyway. He allowed us to have the strength. He allowed all the circumstances to work out. And we did what he told us not to do. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that happened more often than not for some people too.
Oh, yes. Now, let me give you guys a situation here so you could witness to someone if they bring this up. How would you witness to a person that says, see, I can't serve your God? He tells you to do something, but then he gets mad when you do it. What kind of God is that? How would you respond to that? Your God ain't fair. What kind of God is that tell you to do something, but then get mad when you do it?
Can you repeat the question? You said, "How will we witness to someone if that says they can't serve God?"
Yeah. So they're reading the Bible and they come across this passage where why would God tell us to do something, then get mad when we do it? What kind of God is that? Why should I serve a wishy-washy God? I mean, he gonna clearly tell me to do it, then he get mad when I do it. What?
I think that's like a parent. That is a parent. He is our father, and I'm certain there have been some parental situations where you give clear instructions, clear instructions. But you know what? Especially when they get older, how about that? And you know they're gonna do something anyway, even though you've taught them this is the right way to go, but they decide. But you've given them those instructions. Hey, I just want you to know that if you go down this path, you're doing the wrong thing, or this is against God, or it could be so many scenarios in which this situation would occur. And I mean, you could do what you want. You've grown. The consequences are going to be such that you just being honest. I don't know. That's tough, but I can see that fitting into those type of scenarios.
But this is not just a parent. This is
Hold on, let me back.
this is God. This is like the ultimate. He's supposed to be righteous, holy, and fair.
You said you want to land me back. It sounded kind of scratchy. I missed them.
Sorry. Yeah, I want to let me back off of. And I mean, yeah, I want to be able to respond to that question. Yes, I was listening to it also, and there's apparently that he said that go, then he upset. But if you continue listening to if you go back over and listen to the context, what you're going to notice is that it's going to tell him, he did tell him to go, but then he got upset that he went. But the thing is, when you continue reading it, if you listen to it over again, he told him to go and to only only do what I command you to say.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went up and left, and then he said, and then the angel of the Lord said, your way is perverse before me." He says only, and he explains it, only go to do what now only do what I command you to do. So you hear that, but then he basically knew, as you read it, he basically knew that he really wanted to actually. It appears that even though he wasn't going to do it, but he was tempted, or he was going to go and say something that to please Balak. And so he wanted him to go, but he didn't want him to go and disobey him, and what he tell him not to. Well, he was telling him what to say. Like he was going to go, and uh he was going to disobey y'all by going to say something that he didn't say. So he's like, the way it's not that him going, it's him going and not saying exactly what he told him to say. So that's why when you listen to it again, it sees like he's like he says, your way is, yeah, he said, I would have killed you because your way is perverse before me, because it wasn't that he was going to go, it was the fact you were going to go. And I think he was battling with saying like, man, like you said, that divination, like he probably really, really wanted the money. Like he did want the money. And it's obvious, it was really more obvious in the text because he was going to go. But at the same time, he really, really, at the same time, he, as you said, at the same time, without, I think that angel event really, really nipped it in the bud. Like, bro, you about to lose your life if you do not, if you go and you start saying some stuff about Israel and curse and all this stuff that I didn't command, like, then it would have been all bad. Because even in the Torah it says this. It says, if a prophet goes among you and then they say anything that I didn't command, say you shall not listen to that prophet. You shall surely put him to death. That's what it says in the Torah. So basically, he was going, and he that money was looking good, and he has cursed people, and he has been given permission to curse people. As you could say, I could curse whoever curse, I could bless whoever bless, and only if the Lord allowed me to. So it's been cases where the Lord allowed that to happen, but in this case, he had to face the fact that he couldn't take the money, even though he really wanted to, and it was a temptation for him, and he probably was fighting in his mind, like, man, I really need this, I really want this. I think the way that I think so, basically, to conclude the matter, is basically that he was going to go, he was commanded to go, but he got upset because he was going to go, and he was going to get caught up in saying what the Lord did not tell him to say. So he had to straighten him out and let him know, like, look, you're gonna lose your life if you do not tell him exactly what I'm about to say. And I bet you everything he said in his heart, like you said, he really didn't want to have to say that. Because he's saying what the Lord said, but it doesn't benefit him. He's doing it because he has to. He don't want to lose his life, but at the same, he had to lose that money. Like he had to lose it, and he had to lose. It was a really hard thing for Balaam, I believe. He experienced something that was really challenging for him because he really seems like he really didn't want to do that.
Let me ask you a question because you brought up something about a false prophet. Let me ask you this: do you think Balaam
Yeah.
was a false prophet or a wicked prophet? And what's the difference between a false and a wicked prophet?
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah,
Was
that's
he a
the
was he
difference.
a
I
false
believe
or wicked prophet? And is it a like what is the difference between a false and a wicked prophet?
Yeah,
Because
I
like
think
you said,
he was a wicked one because a false one would actually proclaim something that y'all didn't say. So he actually carried out the command. He
right.
actually did exactly what he said. So yeah, he was struggling with he was struggling with being using what the Lord gave him and making money off of it, and you could tell that's what. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question that
Oh
what
no,
somebody would
definitely.
ask, like, why would he ask and then get upset? Because after you hear that he got upset, then you continue listening. It's gonna say you're gonna hear him say, "I was gonna kill you." He said, "But your donkey, it wasn't for your donkey. So now listen, go and say what only what I'm gonna like." So he kept pushing that issue. So it lets me know, like, dang, this dude was gonna probably try to get the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's really gonna probably get tempted to get it after he had to keep saying it over and over and over. And so, uh,
And the
yeah.
reason why I asked that
And
question,
so, yeah, I know I know. Yeah. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
I oh no, it's okay. I asked that question because I remember in the text where I don't know if you said it or maybe Deneen said it, where Balaam said, I can't go beyond what the Lord has said, or something like that. Somebody hammer. So yeah, he was like, I can't go beyond what the Lord has said. And so I wouldn't say that Balaam was a false prophet. I would say he was a wicked prophet. But what is the difference between a false and a wicked prophet, though? I mean, aren't they both wicked? And then you got to do your Venn diagram. False prophet over here, wicked over here. What are the differences? What are the similarities? We know that a wicked prophet, like Balaam, said he would only say what Yah said. A false prophet wouldn't do that. But they definitely have similarities. So let me ask another question. What do you guys think it means to be in the way of Balaam? What does that mean to be in the way of Balaam? What do you guys think that means? That says that in 2 Peter 2:15. It says, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, who
Can
loved the
you,
wages of unrighteousness.
can you read a little context? We're looking at Numbers right now. Can you show us
Oh,
and Peter and give a couple of scriptures back, please?
Following his rules or something.
say it again, Sister Elaine.
Following his rules, his orders, doing what he tell you to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So Sister Elaine saying that being in the way of Balaam is not following and not doing what Abba tells us to do. All right, that's excellent, sister. So here is the passage. Let me see. Go back to verse. It says verse 12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that are they understand not, that they don't understand, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, in heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam. And so I was asking, what is this way of Balaam? And Sister Lane said, basically, it's not doing things the way Yah wants us to do it. And so that's dead on right there.
So at the beginning, when you first turned on this chapter, I saw the 2 Peter 2:1 was speaking something about false prophets, and I'm thinking that maybe he was a false prophet, considering that's the context of this text. But it appears that he was what's the word I'm looking for? He was tempted, if not, he was tempted by those riches. So
Okay,
he was
that's a
tempted
good
by
one.
those riches, and right here it's saying that they enjoy who love the wages of righteousness. So
Mm.
that's those preachers who got all them building funds, but ain't no building yet. But they living stacked on the side. Mm.
Stacking and packing. Look at this Jude 1, verse 11. It says, woe unto them, to your point, Deneen. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Balaam again. Or sorry, it says the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward. Okay? And so this greediness and for reward is exactly what uh, you were referring to. This greediness for reward. Um, and you got to be careful about people who will put money over God, money over everything. Get money, get money, right? We know, people that are like that, that all they're about is getting money. And so we see that that is an error, that is to be in the way of error. It is where you only do things to get the reward of money from them. That means you will do anything. If and this is why the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money is the root of all evil, but the love for it, to do anything for money. When people say that money, now who said that? Run DMC. Money is the key to end all your woes, your ups and downs, your highs, and right. And they're saying that money is the thing that solves all problems. So, oh yes. And even there's another passage too. Where's my mouse? That deals with this as well. I think it's in let me see. Oh yes. Now look at this one. In Revelation 2:12. And the angel of the church of Pergamos, right? These things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges. I know your works and where thou dwellest. I know your works. I know where you live, even where Satan's seat is. And thou holdest fast my name and has not denied my faith, even in the days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr. That's worthy. That's worthy to be studied. Antipas, my faithful martyr. Interesting. Who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. But I have a few things against you, because thou or you has there them that hold to the doctrine of Balaam, like you were saying, Sister Benz, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols and to commit fornication. In other words, there are preachers, there are people who hold to the doctrine of Balaam, which means they will teach false doctrine. They will teach a, what do they call it? Get rich doctrine. But this type of doctrine is super dangerous. It's dangerous to your soul. It is not the gospel. And Paul said, if anyone comes to you preaching another gospel, you're to reject it. So very interesting stuff here. It's really it's not a good look when people bring up the negative things that we've done as the example of what not to do. Have you guys ever had that happen to you? Or have you done it to someone else? You bring up someone as a specific example of what not to do. Don't be like Pastor Benz. Girl, you don't want to do that. Look what Micah says. He says, "Oh my people, remember now what Balaam or Balak, the king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him, that ye may know the righteousness of the Lord." Don't be like Balaam. Remember what he did? I mean, that's got to be, a horrible feeling for you to be the example of what not to do. Oh, yes. Anyone else would like to jump in? Question, comments? All right. Well, blessings, everyone. Looking forward to seeing everyone there. Guys, remember, 10 a.m. on Shabbat is our new time that we'll be there every single Shabbat at 10 a.m. All you got to do is come around to, if you're coming down Webster, pass the street pass up Haight where you would normally turn, go to the next street, make that left, and turn up in the parking lot. And you come all the way through and you'll see the cones there. You just come through those cones and make a right turn, and you're right in our parking area on Shabbat. So 10 a.m. guys, this coming Shabbat, hopefully everyone will be there. Looking for you guys to come. And Brother Mark is going to be sharing. Can't wait to hear the next part of his lesson. And so come on out, 10 a.m. 9:30 if you want to pass out flyers, if you want to talk to the people that are there. I saw 3 girls just out of high school sharing information about what they believe and why they believe it. They were bold. They were courageous. They were not shy. They would talk to anyone. Now, the news that they had was pretty good. They was talking about stopping domestic violence. That's a good message. But guess what? We got the best message on this side of heaven. The best. Okay? And we're tucking it away. We're, not letting it shine. And, the thing I noticed about these girls, they were smiling. They were excited. They were engaging. They knew what to say. They knew how to explain it. And so I'm just saying that, if you feel that you're not able to do that, we got to step up our game. And as a result, I have some, we're going to finish early around 12:30. And for 30 minutes, we're going to do some role playing when it comes to witnessing. So I've been researching in topics and different scenarios for us to do that. All right. So I'm looking forward to that at 12:30 on Shabbat. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right. If not, Lila Tov, shalom to you and your family too. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday night Torah talk. And we look forward to seeing you back here on Tuesday, 7:30 for prayer meeting and 8 o'clock for the Word of Yah. Blessings.